Welcome to Paladin Financial Talk. I'm your host, Jeff Quick, and I'm joined as always by the man who is more reliable than compound interest, Mr. Tony Shore. How are you, Tony?
Oh, Jeff, I'm great.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me here. I'm excited for our episode. I mean, we're in the thick of summer.
Yes.
People are thinking about barbecues, vacations, right? Taking that vacation, maybe buying an RV and going on the road, or a boat, or, it depends on what people do during their downtime. But it's also a good time to make smart financial moves, and we'll get into that. But I've had a great week. I'm in a mode to get things done at my house.
Yeah.
And I have these big projects lined up. I bought some new power tools, everything to saw my own. I'm going to build my own catio, a cat patio. I think I mentioned that on a previous show possibly, but here's the problem. And I put steps in going down to our backyard on this hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got all this. I got to finish it. Rain. Haven't been able to. I mean, for the last 2 weeks, the ground is too wet. Even on a day when it doesn't rain, like maybe today as we're recording this, I can't. The ground is too wet for me to do stuff outside. So, but I have been getting things done. I feel good about myself. I'm not a handyman, but I finally said, no, I'm doing this. I'm figuring it out.
Good for you. I'm not handy like that either. I do a few projects, not as many as my wife like to do, like things done.
For my wife is it's so long. My honey-do list from my wife, it is long enough where if I accomplished a task every single week on the honey-do list, and live to the age of 100, I won't have completed it.
It'll continue to get longer.
It continues to get longer. Yeah. How about you? Same?
Same.
Yeah. Same. There's always something to do, but I am proud of myself because I'm doing physical manual labor out in my yard, landscaping. I'm building things.
Yeah.
And my kids are like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah. You're like a caveman.
In more ways than one. Yes, you're the brains of that. I'm just here for good looks and charm.
Absolutely.
You know that. So this topic today, though, Jeff, we'll jump right into it.
Yeah.
Smart financial moves to make during the summer. Where do you want to begin with that?
Yeah, I mean, well, let's list them off first. There's 5 things I think you can do over the course of the summer that will improve your financial situation both today, next year, moving forward into retirement. So 1, review and adjust your budget for summer spending.
Yep.
Summer's not like the rest of the time of the year, especially here in Minnesota.
That's right.
So spending habits can change. So keep an eye on that. We'll get into some details there. Top off your retirement savings, maybe while you can, instead of waiting till the end of the year. It's a good idea if you want to rebalance your portfolio. If you do that semi-annually, summertime's a great time to take a look, especially if we've had some volatility like we have so far this year. Take a look at debt, 4th thing, tackle debt, come up with a summer strategy. And then lastly, it's a great time to review your insurance. Auto, home, life, everything. It's a good time to take a look at that as well. So those are the 5 things we're going to touch on.
All right, 5 smart moves to make this summer financially. So let's break them down. Let's start with the number 1 thing, review and adjust your budget for summer spending. What do you mean by that? Everybody panics when you say budget, Jeff.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks, I hate budgeting, but it's so important. And after you do it, you're going to feel better.
You will. And even if you don't need to budget, meaning you have enough income or assets where it's not going to impact your life, it's still a good idea to take a look at it and just make sure that what you're doing and spending matches up with your values. For me and a lot of people, like I said, the spending changes in the summertime. My kids are in summer camps. People may have daycare expenses. Weddings, right, are big. Graduation parties. A lot of things come up. Summer vacation or a big trip. These are all things that don't take place during the rest of the year that you should be aware of.
Summer events that can really throw off your budget. If you're not thinking about it. You might say, oh, our budget's fine. And then you don't realize, wow, over the summer, we rented 2 Airbnbs and took this vacation, and we went through a couple of grad parties, and we gave a lot more grad gifts than we usually do because we got invited to a lot this year.
Yep.
Or our daughter got married, or we went to 5 weddings and had to bring gifts to each of the 5 cousins or nephews or grandkids, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really a good point, Jeff. And like you say, even if no matter how wealthy you are, to know what you have going out and plan ahead for it.
Yes.
If you want to be financially smart and have more money, that's a good thing to do. Look at your summer budget and know where your money's going. A lot of times you may have it covered, but do you know where your money's going? That's why my wife and I constantly review our budget.
Yeah, or exactly as good. You cut back on about what if you know you big vacation to go that way. Kind of that knowing you are something.
And I right?
I could. But I could. I wouldn't say I'm good at it, but I'll cook for you, Tony.
You have to. Are we on track for the year? I would say a financial professional like yourself comes into play for this budgeting and investments as well.
Yep. It's a good idea. I mean, a lot of people, my goal is always to get them on a consistent savings habit. Right? Monthly, quarterly, something that's consistent and already anticipated. However, a lot of people also wait till the end of the year and they're like, oh, geez, I haven't contributed to my IRA yet. I better try and get as much money in there as I can. May not be convenient. Where if you start on that in the summer, take a look. Some people just got their tax refunds, right? That's a great tool to start saving for the next year. Put that away now.
Yep.
And maybe when you get towards year end, and again, we have unexpected expenses, New Year's, Christmas, a lot of expenses, holiday travel, that stuff comes up, and your good plans go by the wayside because you forgot about these additional expenses. So do it while you can, while you have the money, or at least start on a road towards those contributions earlier in the year.
Yeah, that's true. Planning ahead, my wife and I will be surprised, like, where did we spend all this money last month? Well, had we planned ahead for that summer spending or for that Christmas spending, if, when it comes to the holidays, these things really can make a difference. Summer is the time of year when, even more so than the holidays at the end of the year, I think people spend a lot of money in the summer.
Yeah, and it's different for us living in the Midwest and Minnesota, right?
Sure.
Where we really do try and take advantage of these 2 weeks of summer that we're going to have here.
yeah. The couple of weeks, eventually we'll have a couple of weeks of nice weather, and we're gonna be out doing things and spending money during those 2 weeks.
100%.
Yeah. So what's the next piece of advice?
Yeah, the next one, I would take a look at your current investments.
Yep.
Look at rebalancing that portfolio that you have. If your advisor isn't already doing it,
sure,
it's a great time just to take a mid-year look, especially considering how the end of 24 and the beginning of 25 started off. A lot of volatility. A lot of people were down early. Now we came back nicely, so everybody should be sitting in a good spot. However, if that would have continued, any big changes in the market, declines or increases, is an opportunity to rebalance your portfolio.
Yeah. Rebalancing your portfolio is so important. And again, you should be working with a financial services professional, a fiduciary who's looking out for your best interest, like yourself, Jeff, and the team at Paladin. And I think that's hugely important. And, if you don't know if your portfolio is rebalanced or needs it, don't be afraid to ask whoever you're working with, your financial professional. Say, hey, does my portfolio need rebalancing? Where is it at? Yeah. Set up a meeting. Talk to them about it.
100%. A lot of things have changed too, right? We have conflict in the Middle East right now. There's other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Interest rates are always in play. Dollar was just at a 3-year low. So maybe reallocating, just as an example, a little bit more to maybe international stocks where you're going to get more for your dollar. maybe overseas than you are here today, there's always opportunities to make slight changes and improvements in your plan.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and again, a lot of people forget about these things until something big happens in the market, and we've had a lot of that this year. It has been in the news. People have been more aware, but still, you shouldn't try to time the market or let your emotions play into it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
The biggest reason you want to rebalance your portfolio, let's say the rest of the year is gangbusters and your equities are up 20% and your bonds are doing what they do, your fixed income is creeping along at 3, 4, maybe 5%.
Yeah.
Well, by rebalancing and taking those large gains off the equity side or your long-term money and reallocating that to your fixed income or your shorter term bucket of money, what you're essentially doing is what everybody aims to do, and that's sell high and buy low, right? So by rebalancing, you're forcing yourself to do that.
Which is the exact opposite of what more than 90% of individual or independent investors end up doing, right?
Correct.
People who try to do it themselves or even are just working with a brokerage, a lot of times they end up selling low and buying high because they let their emotions play into it.
Yes, I'll guarantee you there are a lot of individuals out there that did that this year.
Yes.
With the election in November and the
tariff
decline in the market and the tariffs, I guarantee you a lot of people sold because they panicked and didn't want to lose any more money. And now we're back near all-time highs again. So staying the course, having somebody you can call that can talk to you about investing, having your money strategically invested so you don't have to make any rash decisions when stuff like that happens.
Sure. And what was number 4 on your list, Jeff?
Number 4, tackle debt and focus on that strategy in the summer as well. It's a great time to take a look at those balances and investments and again, start to tackle debt. We talked about it, I think, on our last podcast a few weeks ago, Tony, the different methods of paying off debt, right? You have the different ways. You've got the avalanche method where you pay off the high interest credit cards first.
Yep.
And then the snowball method, which is also great, where you're knocking out those smaller balances, which give you that feeling of accomplishment, frees up more money to then pay off that next debt balance and start chipping away at it and building confidence and decreasing your overall debt. So 2 great strategies and something everybody should take a look at.
Right. And there are also refinancing options sometimes. I mean, we'll have to see what happens here with the interest rate and the Fed and how it affects it. But sometimes, you can move over while you're paying it off to a 0% for a year or 18 months if you get a deal. There are ways to do that as well. That might be one strategy to help you as long as you're trying to pay down that main balance.
Yeah. Whatever works for you. Some of it's always a financial decision. There's also just the mental aspect of it and feeling good and doing it in a way that's going to keep you on task and on track to get those debts paid off. And maybe refinancing could be a great strategy. I know we think everybody has 3.5%, 4% mortgages, but there are a lot of people that miss that refinance opportunity. And maybe there's one today on a home, or look at your other stuff. Like I said, the insurance, the different things you can look at to reduce your monthly expenses to help chip away at that debt.
Homeowners insurance, if you've been with the same company for a long time, get quotes. Because more than likely you can save money on that. If you've had the same coverage for a long time and haven't done that recently, you need to relook at that and have it requoted every few years.
Yeah, you really should. Auto, homeowners, all of that stuff you should be taking a look at. Also look at, it's a small one, but look at those recurring bills that you have, those subscriptions that you maybe forgot about. And $12 plus $12 plus $20 plus X, it starts to add up after a while. And you may as well get rid of those if you're no longer taking advantage of them and using the services. Yeah, sounds good. And speaking of insurance, Jeff, number 5 is review your insurance coverage. Yeah. And so the summertime is a good time to take care of that because
it's kind of one of those financial housekeeping items that people tend to put off or don't do at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, the reason I brought up homeowners insurance is because my wife and I had, when we first financed our home, we went through the mortgage company at the bank.
Sure. Simple, easy, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it's a bank where we had family that worked there for years, and so trusted them. So we just left it there, but it was a mortgage company attached to the bank. And we found out that we could save thousands of dollars. I mean, it had gone up and up and up. And finally it got to the point where I'm like, it went up again. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, why is our house payment finally went up? And they said it's because, over the last 10 years, your homeowners insurance went up. And we shopped it around and bundled it with our auto, and you would not believe how much money we saved. I mean, it was it made a big difference.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing to take a look at. See if you can find an insurance company that does offer all those other things: auto, home, life. You can bundle things together and oftentimes reduce those fees. So that's a great thing to take a look at. Also, just making sure you have enough coverage. Again, too, things change over time.
Like life insurance to make sure your family's not left in a bad situation.
Yep. Yeah. Life, disability, maybe you change jobs. Take a look also at your employee benefits.
Yeah.
What does your employer offer you? Do you have the right type of insurance coverage for your family? There are changes that can take place there. New homeowners, once you have 20% equity, you should be able to get rid of the private mortgage insurance, which is a big one. So people forget about that for a long time too. And oftentimes they're not just going to remove that because they're nice people and they see you've achieved a certain
Wait, the insurance company isn't going to charge me less without me asking?
Yeah.
Huh.
Weird, right?
Interesting. Well, I think this has been a great show. A lot of benefits, things to look at, especially regarding your finances during the summer, some summer financial planning. Jeff, in recap, I just want to recap the 5 smart moves for your summer finances are: review and adjust your budget. That's a no-brainer, and it's not that tough. Just bite the bullet and do it. Top off your retirement contributions was 2. Make sure you're contributing to those accounts. Rebalance your portfolio. We talked about that. And in order to do that, just pick up the phone, call the Paladin team. They can help you take care of it, and we'll answer any questions. Then 4 was tackle your debt. And it seems to come up anytime we talk about finances. We're going to bring up managing debt because it's a huge part of it. You have to do it. Have a strategy and a plan to tackle your debt. And again, if you have questions, give Jeff Quick a call at Paladin. And then 5, review your insurance. That's a good time to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great time. Making these moves can just help you stay on track financially. Again, for today, into the future, and throughout retirement, the decisions you make today and this summer are going to impact your financial future moving forward. So the sooner you get on top of it and make some good financial decisions, the better off you'll be.
All right. Well, Jeff, great show once again today. But before we go, let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you if they have any questions. I know you guys offer at Paladin a no charge, no obligation consultation. Correct?
Yes. You can go ahead and give us a call, of course, at 651-842-8406, or visit us out on the World Wide Web there at www.paladinfinancial.com. And you can go ahead and schedule an appointment right on our website as well with any of the advisors or people that work at Paladin. So you can go ahead and do that right online if you choose to, or give us a call.
All right. Paladinfinancial.com is the web address. Jeff Quick, our host today. Jeff, great show. Listeners and viewers, thanks for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of Paladin Financial Talk, again with our host, Jeff Quick.